Hey everyone, Jason Hill here, and St. Patrick's Day is coming up, so I thought I would do a great fish and chips recipe which uses Guinness beer for the batter. My mother-in-law just left for Ireland today. That's where she's from. She's going back there for a month to visit all of her friends and sisters and relatives. My daughter's actually going at the end of the month for a week or so. She's in college now, so my wife and I have been there twice together. It's been a long time since we've been there. I'm hoping to get back. Ireland is such a wonderful, fun place to visit. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get started on this great, easy recipe. All right, let's prep our spuds first. I like to do wedges, so I kind of tilt it up on its side and I go right down the middle. And then once you have it cut in half, start at the edge and just kind of cut into the center. Same thing as you go across into the center. Back over here into the center. Into the center there, and then one more. So these are my little wedge cuts, and I'll just continue to do that. After you cut your potatoes, like I said, you don't have to do wedge cut like I do, but that's what I prefer. You want to soak them in cold water for at least 20 minutes, or you can even do this the day before and keep this in the refrigerator overnight. And I will pop this in the refrigerator while we're still prepping. All right, today we're using cod. I have just over 2 pounds here, and it's fresh. It's wild Pacific cod, and I get it at Costco. So it comes in a little package here. So need to get this prepped, cut in here, and come over to the sink. All right, a lot of times the fish, when it's sitting there, it's gonna have a little smell to it. And I just like to take and rinse really cold water over it. And it just kind of gets that fishy smell off. And then you want to make sure there's no bones. And then once I remove it from the sink, I like to lay it on my cutting board and just pat it dry. Over in Ireland, they serve it in big, long strips instead of little tiny pieces. That's all I'm doing here is just making them into nice little fillet. Okay, it's time to make the batter. I've got a 14.9 ounce can of Guinness. We might end up using the whole can. So I'm going to set this down, open it up. Oh, nothing like the sound of a Guinness popping. Now, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 egg, lightly beaten. And then here I have a teaspoon of baking powder, teaspoon of kosher salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm going to start with maybe about 1/2 of this can. You don't want to go in here and mix it too crazy. Just start by giving it a light little mix with your whisk. Okay, definitely needs more Guinness. Getting there. A little bit more. So now I probably have about a 1/4 can left. So we probably used a full 12 ounces. There you go. That's the batter consistency you want. See how it just kind of falls off of the whisk? Okay, you want your batter to sit at room temperature about 15 minutes. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and pat dry my potato wedges. And we're going to start the first fry on these guys. Okay, I have my fryer at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Just going to drop these in there. Fresh potato wedges. Chips. Okay. Now for the jacuzzi. Get my lid on. 5 minutes. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. I'm gonna set my basket up here and let them drain. Okay, now I just like to add these back to the bowl Some paper towels to soak up the oil. All right, we're ready to fry the fish. So just a little bit of salt on the fish if you want, and then a little bit of cracked pepper. And then I got a little sheet pan of flour there. And this is my wet hand, this is my dry hand, so I'm gonna go back over to the dry hand while we do this part. Just get a nice little coating on there. And then over to the batter. Once again, I had wet hand, so now pick it back up. You want to get it nice and coated. Like I said, the batter was sitting at room temperature for a good 15 minutes. Now, deep fryers, preheated, 375. I'm going to slowly add this to the oil, because if I drop it in there, it'll sink to the bottom, and then we will stick to our little basket there. We don't want that. Just got to be real careful here. Slowly go in. Kind of like the end of that stupid Terminator 2 movie where Schwarzenegger slowly goes into the molten lava. And at the last second, I'm going to give it a drop. Oh, there we go. Probably about a good 5 minutes, because this is a kind of a thicker piece of fish. After 5 minutes, you'll let your piece of fish drain for a minute. Oh, wow. Look at that batter. Oh, it's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and set it on our little serving block. Now the fries go back in for their second fry. Just a couple minutes on this one. And in there. All right. It's been about 3 minutes. Let's check them. You just want your chips to be nice and golden brown like that. Oh man, this is one of my favorite things to eat. OD'd on fish and chips while we were in London. Go back to the dump the basket into a paper lined bowl. Drain off some of that oil. And then, of course, we got to get a little kosher salt on there to season these guys up. Yeah. Chips on our serving board. All right, let's go into our fish. It stays so moist and flaky. Of course, I like to drown my fish in the malt vinegar, a little squeeze of lemon, and a little dab of tartar sauce. All right, I hope you give this Guinness beer battered fish and chips recipe a try, maybe for St. Patrick's Day or any time during the year. Fish and chips is always good. That batter is amazing. And as always, thanks for tuning in.